बस दिखाओ, भेज दिखाओ। Hello everyone. As for the last class, we have discussed up to the local winds. Now we'll start today the continuation of the local winds. So as we have discussed till about the warm winds and in first hold on. So as we have stated that the recent the Africa regarding, as we have already discussed, that how the Harmattan wind bring a considerable damage to the sub-Saharan African countries, but including at the same time it give okay, it give soothe or relax to the countries which are in the Guinea coast basically. So this is the Sahara desert, as we have already discussed. These are the Sahara desert, and the winds which are blowing out from the Mediterranean Sea, from the Sahara desert towards the Mediterranean Sea, and here the winds are blowing from the Sahara desert towards the Gulf of Guinea. Okay, Gulf of Guinea, Guinea coast. So as we know that Sahara desert towards the Mediterranean Sea, that is the Sirocco. Those are blowing from the Sahara desert, and those from the Sahara desert towards the Guinea coast. This is your Harmattan basically. And Sirocco, I'll just make a synopsis what we have already discussed. Sirocco and Khamsin is in the northern, like your Egyptian country. It is Khamsin here. The Egypt country is here. Egypt country, your Khamsin is here particularly. Like Egypt is a country where the pyramid of Giza and Alexandria and the port. It's a good country. In the northern part of the Egypt is mainly is a Mediterranean climate. The Nile River also crosses through this Egypt. This is that we have already discussed. And if you are sitting with the atlas, please open that one. It will be very helpful what we have discussed now. See text. See, particularly just look at here. Sirocco comes in Harmattan. Okay, South America is Pampero. This is Karaburan, Buran, Mistral, Levant, Bora, Chinook, northeaster blizzards. Okay, these are the wind we'll discuss one by one. Next we'll see the Fohn. Fohn, just look at here. Fohn is the wind that is here you marked here. Fohn is the wind in the Central Alps particularly. Fohn is the wind that is in the Central Alps. Alps is particularly mountain ranges near to the your bordering that France, Germany, means I mean southern France, and also the southeastern Germany and Austria and Italy. Alps mountain. Alps mountain is famous in the world arena because of its scenic beauty, and also Alps mountain is famous as a fold mountain here. Okay, that I will discuss subsequently over. Here you see Fohn is a hot dry wind in the Alps region of Fohn that is one of the dry wind here, Fohn. And the presence of Fohn brings helps in melting the snowberg and the ice in the Alps regions and the countries bordering to the Alps mountain range. Then here you see there is one that is Lebeche or something it is called as the Levant also. Lebeche is a warm wind that is mostly seen in the region of Spain. Then Spain is also we can call that Spain is also an Iberian Peninsula. We can say Spain is an Iberian Peninsula. Just make it note. Spain is an Iberian Peninsula. Right? Lebeche. Then we see brick filter. This is hot dry wind in the Victoria, Australia. Okay, hot dry wind in the Victoria province. Brick builder here. So after Europe, we are coming down to the Australia. Australia, there is also, as we know, Australia is covered. Most of the part of the Australia is covered by your hot desert, basically. Okay, most of the desert it is hot desert. Most of the parts of Australia. Okay, it is come down to your hot desert and see if you say the see this desert is coming by, just look at here brick builder hot dry wind in the Victoria province. Victoria province is basically Australia. If I draw Australia, then Australia is having many of the province here. This is the Victoria province here. This region is your Victoria province basically. Okay, Australia has total 7 number of province. Okay, Australia has become six number of province. One is your Western Australia. This is your Northern Australia. This is Queensland, and this is Southern Australia, and this is your New South Wales, and this is your Victoria province. And this Tasmania, one island that is just detached from the mainland of Australia, and that is known as your Tasmania. This Tasmania is also comes under the jurisdiction of your Victoria province here, Tasmania. So let's see. Brickfielder is also hot dry wind in the Victoria, Australia. Then Jonda, hot dry wind in Argentina. Jonda is also hot dry wind in Argentina. Jonda is there. It is not written, but Jonda, Argentina province is here in the South America. If you see, Argentina province covering here in this part here Argentina. This is basically your Argentina. This part. Okay, this part here Argentina. This is Argentina, and here just noted it Andes mountain covering the western bordering western province of your Australia, South America, right? Next see that is then Santa Ana, that is hot dry wind in the Southern California and USA, and this is Santa Ana, Southern California of USA. This is the California region here, US. This is California regions particularly. Okay, this is California region, California region, USA, right? Then that is another wind that is known as here. Just make a note of this because this is very important. We are covering most of the continents, and that is individually we are also dealing with the countries that is also present in the different continents like North America, South America, here again Europe, Africa, Australia. So simultaneously we are covering many of the continents. So it will be very helpful. So next we'll see. So I'm telling about this California regions. California region since in the North America, particularly North America continent. Then now come down to Northwester. This is also a hot dry wind in the New Zealand. See, Nearing about the New Zealand, I would like to say that New Zealand is comes under your oceanic groups of countries. Like here it is the New Zealand. So let me delete what we have written here. New Zealand is here. This is particularly New Zealand. This is below to the Australia. This is your Australia, New Zealand. Okay, this is your New Zealand, right? Okay, this is your New Zealand country. So if I write here Oceania, if I write Oceania, then Oceania belongs to your three countries. Sorry, Oceania belongs to your three. That is your one is your Australia, then your New Zealand, then Australia, New Zealand, then your um, Polynesia. That is your Pacific Pacific Islands group. That is divided into three. That is your uh, Polynesia, Melanesia, and this is your Micronesia. These are the three groups that comes under here: Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia. Right, Pacific group of islands. Those are divided into these groups. So among that one, your New Zealand is there also. New Zealand is here. Connecting. Here it is. This is New Zealand, right? Next we'll see. Then we'll deal with the cold winds. Cold wind means cold, dry wind blowing from one. First we'll deal with the uh, your first we're dealing with the particularly European countries, that is Bora. If I say Bora, this is cold dry wind blowing from Hungary to the northern Italy. If I say cold dry wind blowing from Hungary to North Italy, that is Po Valley. Okay, North Italy to Po Valley, that is near Adriatic Sea coast side, particularly Adriatic Sea coast side, Bora. Let's look at here. Bora, cold dry wind blowing from Hungary to North Italy. Okay, Bora, Hungary to North Italy. Hungary is here. Just if you look at close to the map, Hungary is here. This is Hungary, and if you see here, this is your Italy, northern Italy. Okay, Hungary capital. What we can say? Hungary capital is your Budapest. Okay, so basically, Bora is a cold wind that blows from Hungary towards the Italy. Then Mistral. Mistral is a cold, dry wind that is blowing down from Alps mountains over France, particularly Alps mountain over France. Mistral is there from the Alps mountain over France. Okay, then you see this blizzard. Presence of Mistral is not good for over the countries like France, Germany, Spain, Austria. Okay, so Mistral is it's a very strong chilled wind. We'll discuss about this regarding specials of Mistral and Foyle. Then see the blizzard. Blizzard I say, then the cold, dry wind blowing at North America basically. Cold, dry wind blowing at the North America blizzard. Blizzard you see along blizzard is basically, just let me draw the diagram here. This is the continuation of Rocky Mountain from the Alaska regions, to till your Mexico. Okay, so particularly what happens in this area, particularly blizzard or flows over from your Alps, sorry, from your Rockies mountain. These are your Rockies mountain, right? Rockies mountain ranges. Okay, blizzard are blowing from here to, okay, towards the land area, particularly towards the land area, particularly this area. This is the California area. So presence of blizzard is not good also because it puts heavy frost on it or a heavy snowfall. That is, okay, that brings damage to the crops, basically the winter crops that are grown in the Northern America, or particularly in the states, western states of USA. Blizzards. Then we'll see the southerly westers. Southerly western is cold dry wind blowing along Australia, New South Wales province. Here, southerly western cold dry wind blowing along the Australia, that is New South Wales. Cold dry wind that is blowing along the New South Wales province, particularly. New South Wales province is here. This is New South Wales province. Okay, this is New South Wales province. This is particularly, okay. Then Pampero. Pampero is a cold dry wind in blowing in Argentina. Cold dry wind blowing in Argentina. Pampero. Pampero is here. Cold dry wind. This is particularly. See, the very name of Pampero. Pampero has originated from your particularly Pampas land. Pampas is an grassland that exists. Pampas grassland is there. On the Pampas grassland, your Pampero word has originated, right? Pampas grassland. Most in the Argentina, Pampas side. Then you see the Puna's cold dry wind blowing along the Andes mountain. So what I say, cold dry wind that is blowing along the Andes mountain. Puna's cold dry wind that is blowing along the Andes mountain, particularly. This is your Andes mountain ranges, cold dry wind. Okay, so Punas are there. Then Purge or Buran, that is more or less same. Cold dry wind in the Russetic tundra. Just Purge in the another name of Buran. Just you see Buran here. Most of the Siberian part. So if I write here, just one second. If I write here, Buran, some Buran is known as also your Purge. Buran, or we can say Purge. That is. So Buran is mostly a blow in the from your this part your covers your Russiatic tundra. Means I mean the upper part of tundra particularly. These are the very chilled wind. We can say the upper tundra region. Upper tundra region here. Okay, upper tundra region here it blows from upper tundra region. This is very chilling wind since this particular area is uninhabited, means the majority of the populations are very sparse populations, or very scanty populations. So it has got any hardly effect, but this is not means I mean if we say this is not uh, a welcoming, particularly to the regions sparsely populated. Okay. Next, we'll see the Lebanon, cold dry wind blowing along the Spain, particularly cold dry wind blowing along the Spain, Lebanon. Okay. So these are about what we have discussed. The local winds, those are in a very temporary or short periods. That's basically warm wind and the cold wind. Let us know next. Fahen. If I say something, I like to say highlight on the what is regarding the Fahen. Fahen is a hot wind of local importance in Alps, particularly. Fahen is a local wind. These are very strong, gusty, dry, and warm winds. Those develop in the leeward side of the mountain range, particularly. Right? These are the very strong, gusty, dry, and warm winds. Those develop in the leeward side of the mountain range. Such ascending air sometimes causes precipitation. Okay, sometimes causes precipitation on the mountains and descends on the lee side. So what happened? Basically, the presence of Fohn is these are warm winds is basically welcoming in the particular Alps regions and in the leeward side mountains. Then again, there is a question came: what is leeward side? There are two different things. If we have segregated the mountain side, that is one. Just I'm making the diagram. Yes. See, this is particularly windward side. Particular this region is called windward side, and this is region is called your leeward side. Windward side is basically where the these clouds they usually precipitate here. So that is why those the side of the your mountain is known as your windward side, and when the other side when this cloud reach it hardly brings any rainfall, and that is why it is known as your leeward side. So here in the this windward side the winds are very strong, gusty, dry, and warm winds develop in the leeward side. Particularly these winds, these particular winds they develop in the leeward side মানে এ পাকা side রে usually they are developed. Okay, such ascending air sometimes causes precipitation on the mountains and descends on the lee side particularly. Okay, so they are very warm in nature also. This fine wind sometimes it is spelled as fawn or fohen. These are the very warm and dry air that is basically 15 to 20 degrees centigrade temperature. The temperature ranges is near about 15 to 40 degrees centigrade temperature. These winds enables animal grazing, particularly they enable by animal grazing. Okay, these winds enables animal grazing by melting snow melting animal grazing and ripening of the grapes. Okay, these winds enable animal grazing by melting snow and ripening of the grapes, particularly. So one type of we can say these are very helpful winds. Similar kinds of winds in USA and Canada move down to the eastern slope of Rockies, particularly. If we say to the similar kind of USA and Canada move down eastern slope of Rockies known as Chinooks. These are also known as the Chinooks. The word literally means Chinook means snow eater. Particularly, if we say Chinook, it is means snow eater. Chinook basically helpful to the sheep ranches to helpful in the eastern of Rocky, as grassland grows well after snow melting. We know. Similarly, likewise the fine also Chinook also there. It is moved down eastern slope of the Rockies. Okay, and this is also known as the snow eater because it's snow eater because it melts snow. So this melting of snow is really good for the orchard farmers. Okay, and also to the ranches particularly since why, because the grassland grow grass corn and it will be helpful. Okay, for the ranches as it is means I mean the for the ranches means particularly the cattle, it is good for them because food is available. That is why sheep goat that plentifully get their food, and that is all how possible after your snow melting. Okay, next we'll see Uh, See, then Mistral, just I'm highlighting because these are some of the important points questions have asked in the either way. Means I mean, it is not only that where is Mistral and which continent and which country is there, whether it is cold or warm wind. Apart from that, there are other questions also relating to your particularly the what kind of uh, problems means I mean what kind of problem means whether it is welcoming or unwelcoming. These are the questions which are usually mostly asked in civil service part. Okay, so if you have an adequate knowledge over this wind, apart from their nature warm and I mean what I mean to say, apart from their warm and coldness, apart from that one also we can also know the other effects, like as I said, we have discussed that Chinook is the snow eater. Fohen melt kale तमर Alps रे Europe रे केमती help होची, Chinook केमती US रे help करची, हैला. Regarding that one, civil services जोटा टिके analytical questions पचारंती, so depending on the things apart from the your facts, this also, if you understand properly, this would also help you out in the solving if the questions are in a task manner. Okay. So now we'll see the Mistral wind are very cold and dry winds with high velocity. Also, in winter time, they blow from snow-capped mountains on the high hills to the down valley. Again, Mistrals again. See, Mistral forehand मन रखा. Mistral forehand जब तमें देखियो Alps रा यूरोप रो Alps region में समाने करंती. ହେଲା ତମକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରିକ୍ସ ଟା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି, ଟ୍ରିକ୍ସ ଟା ହେଲା ଆଲ୍ପସ୍ ରିଜନରେ ଦି ଜଣ ବହନ୍ତି, ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଫହେନ୍, ହେଲା ଫହେନ୍ or fawn whatever you can say. Fehen ହେଲା your warm wind where your mistral is your cold wind. ठीक ଅଛି, Fehen और mistral, and so this is your warm and cold wind mistral. So mistral what happened, these are the cold dry winds with high velocity. In winter time they blow from snow capped mountains. Snow capped means कोटू, from these are Alps particularly Hungary side to sun बहती on highland to the down the valley. ହେଲା down the valley मैंने mostly as we have discussed the mistral generally Italy side आड़को बहे, यदि भी देखियो तबे हैला blowing in the Alps mountains over France मैंने over France में Italy आड़को valley आड़को बहे से. They are able to bring down temperature below the freezing point. मैंने जब इतने ठंडा mostly they they bring the temperature below the freezing point that hampers to the valleys fruit gardens and orchards particularly. Fruit gardens orchards को समान करते. Mistral winds blow from the Alps. हेला hamper मैंने they got damage. Mistral is not welcoming. Fruit gardens orchards to समान damage पहुंचाते. That is why they are not welcoming Mistrals. Mistral winds also blow from the Alps over France towards Mediterranean Sea. France towards the Mediterranean Sea. It channeled through Rhone Valley basically. Rhone Valley को ही मैंने channeled होती. Rhone Valley, just look at this map. Rhone Valley is basically Rhine and Rhone. Rhone is basically in your southern France particularly. Okay, Rhone. If I say Rhone is your southern France here, and this is Rhone Valley. It is particularly in the southern France. This is Rhone Valley. We can say Rhone is a river. Okay, Rhone River Valley. We can say directly. I am writing here Rhone River Valley. Right. Then the Santa Ana, particularly is a warm wind that generates during winter season, November and February. Santa Ana that blows from the Mojave Desert towards the Pacific. Okay, that generates during winter seasons basically. Winter seasons generate with November, February, and that blow from the Mojave Desert towards the Pacific. Mojave Desert, you can say Santa Ana. Let's look at this map. See, this is why I'm telling all these things. These 4 or 5 winds specifically I'm dealing because questions are generally not in the civil service. They're not only asking the cold or dry. What are the impacts to the habitations or particularly to the where the pockets means I mean the thick population has resided there. If I'm telling this one Santa Ana, Santa Ana is particularly in the region of California. California is one of the most populated state in USA, and it has gotten significant impact over these regions, over these states. So the Santa Ana is basically is a cold wind, Santa Ana if I'm saying, and it has got, see, let's discuss over this here again. It's sorry, Santa Ana is it's a sorry, it's a warm wind that generates during winter season. Winter season it generates way Santa Ana. It's a warm wind and during November and February. Okay, November February means since it is a northern year, November February mean amar भी same जिनसे एठी where in the northern hemisphere so in the USA. Let's look at this map. ଯଦି November February ଦେଖିବା ଯଦି ମୁଁ ଏଠି ନେଲି ତ almost northern hemisphere ଏଠି तुम देखियो पाखापाखि 35 ମାନେ ଲାଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡରେ ସେମାନେ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ତ ଯଦି ଏଠି ଦେଖୁଛ ତମେ ଦେନ୍ winter season ରେ warm wind ଟା blow କରୁଛି କୋଉଠୁ ତମର Rockies ହେଲା blow from the Mojave Desert towards the Pacific. Mojave Desert ରୁ Pacific ଆଡକୁ blow କରୁଛି. Here it is the your Mojave Desert is here. Okay, here it is your Mojave Desert. ठीक ଅଛି. Now see Mojave Desert towards the Pacific Oceans. So Mojave Desert is an driest desert that is mostly located in the western coast of USA. As we have discussed, आगू मैं पढ़ेबी कि how the most of the hot tropical deserts they lie in the western margins of the continents. So that the scientific reasons or the technical reasons is सेटा भी मैं discuss करेबी, but मन रख सब जगह रे जो जगह रे hot desert थिवो adjacent to that one there is a cold current flows any of the continents you see. Okay, mostly. Okay, so I'll tell in that case how the desert forms, particular desert chemical formation way, and how it making intensifying that area by your desiccating effect of the wind becoming subsidized at that positions here. Whether you know about your third desert of our India, Rajasthan, right? And also if you go for the Sahara desert or you say the Namib desert, everywhere the situation is same. The mechanism of forming the desert is mostly same in the desert here. Okay, so here I say the Mojave Desert ru bohuch kuadu Pacific adu. Hala, just make a note of this. And Mojave Desert ମୁଁ भी कहबी Mojave Desert ଯଦି ଦେଖିବ just make a note of this. Mojave Desert ଯଦି ତମେ କହିବ Mojave Desert is basically ମୁଁ लिखि दउछि Mojave Desert तमरा दी जगह performance हुए your Nevada state and your जोटा कि mainly जब तुम देखियो Nevada, Arizona and California. Most जब देखियो तमे Arizona और California को समाने धरिकी करते. ठीक अछि. Next we see the Harmattan. Harmattan mostly formed during October to March. Harmattan during October to March. Here northeasterly winds blow out from the Sahara Desert towards the coast of West Africa, particularly during October to March. Northeasterly winds blow out from Sahara Desert. है October to March भितर कौन हुए? This northeasterly winds blow out from March. माने even if same Harmattan जब देखियो Harmattan ना period टा भी सही winter time रे अछि जोटा particularly. Northeasterly winds means northeasterly winds माने हमें कहाँ को कहबे? Again, if I say Harmattan October to March रो बहुची as a northeasterly winds. Northeasterly winds माने इटा है ना तुम्हारा trade wind basically. Or हमें कौन कहबे? These are the easterlies, basically trade winds or easterlies. They blow out from the Sahara Desert towards the coast of West Africa. West Africa coast where the pressure is lower, basically pressure ta lower it. These winds are warm and extremely dry, particularly these winds are warm and extremely drier in nature. ଯେହେତୁ ସେମାନେ warm ଆଉ dry in nature, they dried off our nose particularly, ହେଲା, throat, eyes and cause finger and skin to crack. Means I mean, what I mean to say, ଏମାନେ ଏତେ ଡ୍ରାୟର ଇନ୍ ନେଚର, ମାନେ particularly ତମର ଗଳା ଶୁଖେଇଦବ ନାକରେ, means I mean there is an scratches or that is sometimes it is cause bleeding from the nose also, and eyes are basically itching from this from this dryer or the winds. Fingernails and skins usually crack. So this kind of damage the your hammer brings in the means I mean the countries which are adjacent to the Guinea coast. Just look at here. These are the Guinea coast. This is Hamilton is blowing. That means what are the countries located here? If I say, just note it down: Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria. Right? Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. These are the countries where the Harmattan blow particularly. Harmattan is blowing. These are the countries. Harmattan blow करिके हमको इस जगह they are making a damage over this one. Okay. Next we'll discuss. This is all about your local winds, local and periodic winds. Next we'll discuss your monsoon. See, we'll discuss for a few times. Then in the next meeting, we'll also continue with the your periodic winds. Local winds we have covered already. So I hope these all slides give an immense help about this one to discuss the understand about the winds phenomena in the different components. See, then look at here. We'll go for the periodic winds then. Then we'll go for the periodic winds. Periodic winds generally, what are the periodic winds? A constant wind, your easterly, westerly we have already studied. Okay. Then over the periodic winds, we'll say planetary winds we have covered, local winds, then periodic winds. Periodic winds, these are the winds that are changing their directions periodically with change in season. Periodically with the change in season at the periodic winds. Monsoons are the best examples of periodic examples of best kiye periodic example of best monsoon winds basically. Monsoons, if I say, let me draw a diagram here. If I draw monsoon winds, if I draw our India here, see, this is 0 degree. 0 degree means this is equator. Okay, it is जो southeast trade winds आसिला particularly जोटा कि हमर equator रे कोन हो पारे से deflect करी होचोती हैला southwest direction रे. These southwest trade winds becoming southwest trade winds basically. हैला southeast trade winds becoming southwest winds, monsoon winds. हैला जोटा कि हम डिस्कस करिबा जस्ट आगे बुझो मेकानिज्म टा that will help. Monsoon winds को हम कौन कहछो? These are the best examples of a large scale modification of the planetary wind system. गोटे planetary wind system जो हमर होउची सेटा गोटे large scale modification, and over that land and sea bridges also. Land and sea bridges, mountain and valley bridge also comes under such category. ठीक अछि? Mountain and valley bridge, that is also comes under such category. Mountain and valley bridge also we can say here. If you see, these are the just if I am making diagram here, if you see here, these are the southeast trade winds, and after crossing the equator, what happens? The mechanism after crossing the equator, due to your effect means, I mean, if I say that is called your Coriolis effect. Just understand this one. This is because of Coriolis effect. Why? And then now the next question is that how the Coriolis effect formed. This Coriolis effect, it is formed. Coriolis effect, it is formed due to rotation of rotation of the Earth. As we study earlier also, because of this, the rotation of the Earth, what happens? The winds that moves right, moves winds that moves right in northern hemisphere and left, they got divert. ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା right ହେଇଯାଏ and another is your left in southern hemisphere ହେଲା ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା right turn ନିଏ ତାମାନେ ଏଠୁ ତମର turn ଏପଟକୁ ନଉଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ turn ଟା ତମର ଏପଟକୁ ନଉଛି ହେଲା this is your if I say in the northern hemisphere it is right and in the southern hemisphere it is left. It is all because of your movement of the wind particularly. Hello? Similarly, land and sea breeze, mountain and the valley breeze also comes under such category. Hello? Land and breeze and mountain and the valley breeze also comes under this category. Hello? India रे जदि देखिबो ए जो फेनोमेना रे हमरा इंडिया फेनोमेना रे so I hope this is clear also केमती तमर Coriolis effect होची wind केमती northern hemisphere रे right turn करचे southern hemisphere रे left turn करचे. Okay, so these are the main reasons. Okay, apart from that one, if I draw the diagram once again here, जदि मैं देखिबी एठी जदि मैं करची India presence of western see one of this is completely scientific like your physics and we have to understand this one जदि एठी ऑस्ट्रेलिया रे province टा करेली particularly हैला एई जगह रे मन रख your high pressure region is created. This is Pacific Ocean हैला high pressure एई जगह रे create है monsoon रे केमती हो इंडिया रे particularly सूर्यंकर the very apparent place of the sun माने is here Tropic of Cancer. 23 and this is Tropic of Cancer. This is Tropic of Cancer, that is 23 अध्याय. Since the very placement of the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer, the land mass is getting overheated. Land mass माने कि these regions माने particularly your Punjab plain, Punjab Haryana plain, Sindh plain means it is in the Pakistan and also the few province of your Indian part also. Then Rajasthan plain also. Rajasthan plains overheated. Then your Ganga plain also overheated. Ganga plain में तमर की क्या आसियो उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, and your parts of your West Bengal. These are highly intensely heated, right? So because of due to this here one low pressure situation has been created. Okay, and another in summary we know that wind सबले flow कोटी करे मन रखा जदि मु एटी बनैली an LP means low pressure एटी HP माने high pressure wind टा केमती फ्लो करिवो सबले मन रख wind रो डायनामिक्स हला सबले हाई प्रेशर रु लो प्रेशर को wind फ्लो करे हला this is the a phenomenon that executed in your atmospheric system सब जगह रे हला सब जगह रे हला वेट लिखिबी wind flows from high pressure region to low pressure माने जदि मैं को लिखि परिबी हाई प्रेशर लो प्रेशर माने सरप्लस रु टू डेफिसिट हैला ସବୁ ଜାଗାରେ ଏଇଟା ହେଲା ଆମର ବଜେଟ୍ ସରପ୍ଲସ୍ ରୁ ଡେଫିସିଟ୍ କୁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଫ୍ଲୋ କରିବ ୱିଣ୍ଡ ହେଲା। So this is your what, this is your phenomena, ঠিক আছে। So we'll continue with this in the next, that is very important, your the effect of monsoon and the impacts of monsoon, है ना। So I hope this class may be useful to all of you if you're understanding. Keep in touch. Okay, thank you, have a good day, thank you.